Hey guys, welcome to the very first episode of Don't Get Me Started. If you guys don't know what Don't Get Me Started is, make sure to check out my previous YouTube video explaining what this is all going to be about. The title of this episode is going to be You Are Killing Call of Duty. And without further ado, please guys, don't get me started on this topic. I have about a billion things to say about this, and we're going to go ahead and start off with the fact that I do not think that Call of Duty is dying. I think it is at its highest point that it's ever been, and it's just going to keep getting higher. And for everyone saying that Call of Duty is dying, it is you guys that are killing Call of Duty and not stepping back and looking at the bigger picture of things. The bigger picture of things, I don't know if I even said that right because I'm going fast because I'm really heated about this, is that you have so much more than you've had before with Call of Duty tournament prize pools, with organizations that are investing into Call of Duty. You have Cloud9 has 2 teams, Liquid, TSM, Luminosity, CLG. All these teams have invested in Call of Duty this year because they've seen the growth and they've seen what it is capable of doing. You also have sponsors like Monster Gaming, Red Bull Gaming that are all sponsoring COD teams. I've been sponsoring COD teams before, but it's the fact that they're sponsoring us. And we're all sitting here complaining that Call of Duty is dying. If you guys, I don't know the exact number on South Carolina open bracket, but the open bracket had like so many thousands of dollars available to just the open bracket, not the championship pro bracket, but the open bracket had the most money ever that like has been offered in an open bracket, and that's exactly what we wanted, and that's what we got. We asked for something and we got it, and now we're complaining about how awfully dead this is. And a lot of people are going to say that the credit to Call of Duty dying is that there's a lack of events. I can and I cannot agree with that. I can agree that there is a lack of events compared to any other games. Usually there's an event like 3 weeks after the game was out. Usually it's Columbus every single year. It took very long for us to get to South Carolina. I'm pretty sure it was in February, if I'm not mistaken. Took all the way to February for us to get an event. Totino's held an event for the pros. I mean, that was just something for us to watch. The pros didn't, I guess, consider that really an event. But it took all the way for us to get until South Carolina for us to get an event, right? So yes, it took a while for us to get a major event. But on a side note, there are like smaller local events that I went to. I went to an AGN event in Indianapolis, 16 teams, small little local event. Don't expect to get many more than 16 teams. But I went to a LAN event and I played and I competed. It was a blast. I got to play on LAN before everyone else did. On a side note to that, I don't know the dates that MES had, but MES has hosted, I'm pretty sure, 2 Call of Duty events since this game has been out. And another thing about MES that people overlook is that it's not 18 plus. So everybody can compete at MES. That was another big thing that I'll touch back on, is that 18 plus kill Call of Duty. We'll get back to that, but MES is not 18 plus. So everybody can compete at MES. Why people aren't going to MES blows my mind. Team passes are still pretty cheap, if I'm not mistaken. I'm guaranteed they're less than Anaheim team passes. Hotel rooms were like $80 discounted. They have really nice big venues, and they have venues inside of like major hotels like the Radisson and the Marriott. If you guys remember back to Advanced Warfare, MES started at 24 teams at their first event. It was before Columbus and Advanced Warfare. Before Columbus, 24 teams Advanced Warfare Call of Duty tournament, literally held at 3 stations, grew to be over 100 teams at one point in the Radisson, and then they went to the Marriott, had like 70 or 80 teams. They had pro teams going. They had great prize pools. And then I think that they said that they were announcing an event on Xbox One instead of PS4, and even though they had the event on PS4 as well, a lot of people didn't go. But everyone complains that MES doesn't have big prize pools. Well, that's because nobody is going to the events. I guarantee you, if you put 80 teams at the next MES, their prize pool would increase as teams started buying team passes. They wouldn't say the prize pool is, say, $5,000, and then 100 teams get in, and then all of a sudden they're still going to be at $5,000. I guarantee that would raise, but we just have to get out there to go to this MES event. So I'm pretty sure it's 2, and South Carolina makes 3, so that's 3 events, and it's what, May? There's going to be one in June. That'll be 4 events. So 4 events in what, like 6-7 months? That's not bad. That's more than an event every other month, and people just aren't taking advantage of that MES situation, like MES, what MES is giving to us. And I remember I went to so many MESs. I went to 2 huge MES events in Advanced Warfare, and guys, the staff there is amazing. The way that they run their tournaments is amazing. They have refs there that actually play Call of Duty and have a stopwatch next to your station so that matches stay on schedule, so you don't have like certain times to warm up and everything. And I cannot believe that MES is not being used. So if you're going to say that there's a lack of events, you cannot use that as an excuse for Call of Duty being dead when MES is trying their hardest to put on tournaments, and they have stations. They have so many. They have like 10 stations locations, at least for events, that we're just not taking advantage of. It's right there, and we're just not taking it. God knows why. I'll be honest, I haven't been to an MES yet, more or less because I think that we were more focused on South Carolina at the time. We did go to a small local AGN event, but I mean, there's a lot of local events. There's like NGA Rod, Lagar, AGN, eBash, I think is going to come back with some events. So there's smaller local events that you can just go to play Call of Duty on LAN if you're really looking for it. But yeah, there's only been 2 majors announced this year. I think a third one's going to be Orlando, not 100%, and CoD Champs still. So there's still major events to watch, plus whatever European events go on overseas that American teams travel to that we can at least watch. But using that there's a lack of tournaments as an excuse is literally mind-blowing to me. So I got that out of the way. The fact that there's major organizations that are investing into this, got that out of the way. So there's major orgs coming in. There's more money coming in. Yeah, there's less tournaments, but that's only because we're not looking at the amount of tournaments that are actually being hosted. And there's just players that'll just, they just don't, like, I'm a player, and when I was getting ready for South Carolina, there was a decent amount of team scrims going on, but as soon as South Carolina was done, you know, people just stopped playing, and it literally blows my mind because I play Call of Duty because I absolutely love the game. I love to compete. There's not a thing that I don't like about Call of Duty, sorta. I mean, but everyone has their complaints about everything. But I mean, I love the game genuinely down to everything. You know, every single Call of Duty I've enjoyed playing, whether it's frustrating or not. Like, I love Call of Duty. I play Call of Duty because I love it. I don't play Call of Duty for a billion events a year. I don't play Call of Duty for, you know, trying to completely go pro as much as I want to go pro. I play Call of Duty and sit here and grind for hours on hours and play wagers and stream because I absolutely love to do it. And I think that players just are so focused on the money and the events anymore that they've lost touch with how much like they enjoyed playing Call of Duty instead. I know it's hard to grind for like an event or grind Call of Duty when there's no events, but I don't know, like there's a lot of like money aids going around in the pro scene, but like pros don't really team scrim as much because there's no one contesting them. You know, pro teams scrim to play other pro teams, but there really hasn't been any teams that have shooken up the pro bracket. I'm pretty sure. I mean, that C9 team took out CLG and got into the league, and then 100 Thieves took out TK -1 player to get into the league. But other than that, like there's really hasn't been a lot of contenders. Trying to push up into the pros, and it just comes from like players just, you know, not playing and practicing. And like I said, it is hard to just play wagers all day. I've played wagers all day long, and it gets boring just playing search, but there's just like, it's so rare to find an 8s lobby or a money 8s lobby or like a money 8s S&D lobby for that matter. It's just so hard to find that, and no one's doing it. And as soon as one person sees, hey, there's nobody playing right now, then that person slowly dissipates off, and then there's no more of that player. Whoever that player may be, he's just not playing anymore because he's had enough of this. Oh, God. Sorry. But not only, and then building off that, like it's just a domino effect, and more players will fall, and they'll just get tired of it. And I mean, it's just really sad just to see all these players just being like, oh, there's nothing to play for, so we're not going to play for the next 2 months. And then not only that, but every single time somebody says Call of Duty's dead, it doesn't help. If you tweet out Call of Duty's dying, you are literally adding fuel to the fire. If you have any potential sponsors or organizations that are like, hey, we want to get into Call of Duty, let's go through and let's look at some of the COD players' tweets, and we'll see what kind of videos and stuff they're putting out and YouTube videos, and then they see the stuff that we're putting out there into the community, they're gonna really not want to invest in this. If there's another organization that wanted to get back into wanted to like invest in the Call of Duty, and they saw some of the stuff that we tweet out and how much we complain and just bitch about Call of Duty, if I was an organization owner, I wouldn't want to get into it with the attitudes that players have. Even if there's money, whatever, the attitudes that some of these players have, it just blows my mind. So and some of the things that I think that contributed to the domino effect of Call of Duty dying and everyone saying that is because there was a console change and there was an 18+ rule. And there's not much we could have done about the console change. That was like a contract thing that whatever Activision signed. But, you know, most of us ended up buying PS4s. I don't think there's a lot of people out there that didn't, you know, buy a PS4 and switch over. And if you didn't, the easiest thing to do is to go on Craigslist and trade your Xbox for a PS4 if you were that serious and not even spend $1. I know that's what one of my teammates did, so I know it can be done. And then the 18+, the solution to the 18+ rule, if you guys wanted to get people under 18 back into competing, it's a very easy solution. It is very hard to execute. The solution to that is to get all the organization owners together And this would have been the best time to do before South Carolina. But if you got every single organization owner together and you made them not buy team passes for the event, and boycotting the fact that they want people under 18 to be able to compete, then we would have had, I guarantee, like if South Carolina had 20 team passes bought and no one else was buying, even if 20 like orgs bought team passes, if that was like it, and like South Carolina UMG saw that, no one else was buying team passes and that organizations were really serious about not purchasing team passes unless players under 18 could play, they would have. It's all about the money. But we didn't do that in time, and at this point, there's like 100 and some teams in open bracket. I remember Anaheim and Ghost was like 200 plus teams at the time, but I guarantee that if they open more team passes and 18 plus, they'd make a lot more money. I'm on the fence with 18 plus. I don't know if I agree or disagree with it. I think that there's a really big maturity thing that comes with that a lot of players under 18 don't have, but at the same time, there are players under 18 that are more mature than players that are 20, 21 years old, whatever. So I'm not even going to go into that because that's a really big argument, but you got to realize that we do have a voice. The biggest thing that I can touch on is the Aches rules. Like when the Varix got buffed, the silent buff, and then it arose the community, everyone was using it. Everyone was like, Call of Duty sucks because of the Varix. I don't understand. What is so hard about before scrimming being like, hey guys, do you mind not using the Varix? It's a little bit overpowered. It doesn't make the game fun. Can we just scrim without it? 90% of teams are going to say, yeah, dude, that's absolutely fine. We agree. That's the exact same thing that happened with Aches rules. Vandahar was like, I think we should have Call of Duty with counter UAVs, C4, shock charges. I think it'll make it more interesting, especially with Ban Protect. And then Aches and his rules, or whoever came up with it, or the Call of Duty pros, or all of us together, was like, no, we don't think there should be fifth man like sentry guns and guardians. We don't think that shock charges and counter UAVs are that competitive. We're just going to play without them. And now I've been scrimming for a really long time. I don't think I've ran into one team that has used any of those things. So to say that we don't have a voice blows my mind, because you can like the biggest example is the Varix. You could go into a scrim, tweet at someone, and be like, hey, do you mind not using the Varix site? It's a little bit overpowered. It doesn't make the game fun. We don't want to scrim with it. If you guys don't want to scrim with it, we'll find a new scrim. It's fine. Boom. Problem solved. That's as simple as it can go for, like, if you're not enjoying using a certain thing in the game. If there's something in the game that's overpowered, like when and even our voice got heard through UMG because they banned the Varix through wagers like 2 days later. It didn't take long for UMG to do that, but it's just, I mean, like, just play without it. I don't understand like why people are complaining about the game. And honestly, everyone's saying like how bad this Call of Duty is, and I am so sorry for whoever I offend, but if you say this Call of Duty is bad, I swear it is you that is bad at this game. Because if you're hopping on Call of Duty Black Ops 3 and you're scrimming hardpoint and you're dropping 40 to 50 kills every single hardpoint, and then you hop into search and you drop 10 plus kills every single search, the last thing coming out of your mouth is going to be, this game's awful. And I put my life on it, because every single time that I play this game and I do bad, I do the same thing. I'm like, wow, this game's awful, jetpacks, give me boots on the ground. But then I drop like 40 kills and I'm like, wow, this game's awesome, blah blah blah, my bullet detection was great. It's just online Call of Duty that people are pissed off about. And honestly, and I will quote my friend Austin Allen Shoddy. I'm going to quote his pinned tweet right now, his at Shoddy2 Yobody. Stop blaming the host, the map, the guns, the bans, game mode, spawns, and everything but yourself. If they can do it, so can you improve. That tweet's like the most real thing I've ever read ever in Call of Duty. I don't understand how you can sit here and how you can blame the hosts. Like, if you're blaming the host, it's, why is it so hard to play that map out and then just send the other team a message being like, hey, that host isn't so good for us, it's not good practice for us, do you mind just switching hosts? If they don't switch hosts, then leave the scrim and get a new one. That's not hard. If you're blaming the map, that's just dumb. I can't even begin to describe if you're blaming the map for the loss. Everyone else can play the map. Why can't you play the map? The guns, if you don't like a gun, ban it and ban and protect, or get better with it and practice with it. The bans, again, just ban stuff that you don't like playing against. Game modes. I mean, the game modes are Hardpoint, which everybody loves, Search and Destroy, which everybody loves, CTF, I'm pretty sure that's being taken out, so our voice was heard, and then Uplink, which everybody loved in Advanced Warfare for the most part. It's pretty entertaining to watch, and it's pretty fun to play, in my opinion. I don't really see an issue with Uplink, but. And then the spawns, again, you can control spawns pretty easily. Occasionally there is a fluke where you'll spawn behind all of them, but usually it's because one of your players is out of position. You don't just get spawned on. Sometimes it happens, but yes, it doesn't just happen to you. You are not the only person it's happening to. It is happening to everybody. There's videos, there's tweets about it. Like, you cannot sit here and blame the game. Just play it. Like, it's Call of Duty. Shit's gonna happen. It's online. You're gonna get warriored. You're gonna get BS'd. Like, and for the people who are like search and destroy is dead because you can wall run across infection A bomb wall and you can drop down on people and kill them, or you can run around trees and jump over the map and snipe them. You have that same capability to do the exact same thing. You're just not taking advantage of it for God knows what reason. If you know that that's a common spot that people are using now, it's not hard to look up in the air and shoot someone down, because that person will never win that gunfight on you because they are running back and forth. They are so focused on running back and forth. It's literally a free kill. I've done it before. And yeah, it's a little bit frustrating playing search and destroy with jetpacks, but again, everybody has to deal with it. And something I want to throw in there that I've made a video about is that Specialist, how everyone complains about how Specialist is ruining competitive COD. Why, again, is it so hard for you to tweet out, hey, do you want to try this scrim without Specialist? Let's see how it goes. Let's see if it makes the game more fun. And then get that train rolling. And just like I said, going into like people playing 8s and stuff like that, there's a lot of egos and there's a lot of like people who won't play with other people for whatever reason. Why is it so hard to invite someone to an 8s lobby or to play pickup scrims with them? Like, if you lose a pickup scrim, or you lose an 8s match. If it's not money 8s, you're just playing with people to play. And I played on STDX through like South Carolina, and every single time that we scrimmed a new team, like Phoenix or Lucid or whoever we scrimmed, we followed all of them after the game was done. We tweeted at them GGs, and we got scrims every single day against them, against good players, because we didn't have egos and we just wanted to play. It didn't matter who we played, we just wanted to play. And if you're scrimming these teams that you know you're going to destroy, why don't you keep scrimming them as a warm-up? If you got on and you know that you're going to 250 to 10 point this club, this team, why don't you get on and instead of shooting bots, why don't you just have fun and just shit on this team? Because that team that you're playing that's getting shit on wants to play you 10 times more than any other team, because they're learning more when they play you. If you're playing you want to play better teams so you can get better, that's the same mentality that these other teams have, but they can't get better unless you just take that chance and just scrim them for your first game on. That's not very hard to me. Like, we've done it before. We've tried as hard as we can against shitty teams to see how bad we can actually beat them, and it is way more fun than just scrimming the same teams over and over again. Get a warm-up game, have fun, laugh while you're playing, do funny call-outs, do whatever you can to enjoy the game, because we're not enjoying the game anymore. That's like what I see. It's just like, play with as many people as you can. I've played pickups and 8s the past couple of days and followed so many people that they followed back, and just I have so many more connections when I tweet out who wants to play. More and more people want to play because I've been playing with them, and they see, I'm just having a good time. I'm out here playing 8s. I'm out here playing wagers. I'm out here doing whatever. And if I do shitty, it's not a big deal because it's $1 or it's just 8s or it's just pickups. You know what I mean? Like, we're just literally, we'll just be like, that player is so bad, we're never going to play with him again. He could be the coolest dude. He could be the funniest guy, but we're not going to play with him because we wouldn't want to lose 8s or pickups or whatever. God, I'm going on like 18 minutes on this video, guys. I still have like not even a decent amount to say, but like I just, guys, COD is not dying. We are killing it ourselves by saying all these things, by not being a community anymore. I feel so disconnected from the Call of Duty community. I feel like if I don't know you, I'm not going to be able to play with you. And I'm not saying that if a pro gets tweeted at by some kid with 20 Twitter followers who just got a Twitter and just got an Xbox or PS4 that pro should play with that player. But if I'm like, I've been playing with some kids that are under 18 the past couple of days, that went to AGN events, and you guys know who you are. I've been playing with you guys, just filling in. I have a fucking blast playing with you guys. You guys are hilarious. I love playing with different people, regardless if I think I'm better than them or if I think they're better than me. I just have fun playing with more and more people. I just get out there, I meet people, and I've made some relationships through gaming that are better than relationships I've had with people in real life, and I've never even met these people. It's just, we're not a community anymore. We're not a family, and it can't just take one person like me saying all this. It has to take everybody coming together and, being a family is all I'm trying to say. If we don't like something, we can change it because we have the power. If we don't like an attachment that's being used on a weapon, we don't have to play with it. We just don't. We can play with other people who don't want to play with it until it's the meta. We can boycott events to get 18 plus rules revoked. We can go to more events if we just suck it up and go to an MES, because if we all sucked it up, that would be a major event. If you remember back in AW, they were so big they had pro points. I consider that almost a major event to a point, even though there wasn't pro teams. teams going, because even if there were all the pro teams going, they would probably get their own bracket. Like if you go to South Carolina, you don't play all those pro teams in open. You play like one or two that didn't make it in the pro bracket, but for the most part, Advanced Warfare, MES, those teams or those events were pretty much majors. They have 100+ teams, pro points, main stage, all that stuff. So all I'm saying is like just sit back for a second and stop saying that Call of Duty's dying and do something to change it. If it takes you playing 8s more, playing wagers more people, or just pickup scrimming, or just maybe getting a team to scrim together for fun, with your old teammates that you haven't talked to in how long, just getting more and more people playing. There's been more viewership, there's been more prize pools than ever before. Like imagine playing in Call of Duty 4, playing for the small prize pools then, and try saying Call of Duty's dead back then. Like there was nothing. There wasn't even half as many teams. There wasn't even like that much exposure. So all I'm saying, guys, is Call of Duty isn't dying at all. It's us that are really doing a number on Call of Duty. We are the ones that are just catching it on fire and pouring gasoline on it because we refuse to play 8s with each other is all I'm saying. Like honestly, that's my solution. Play 8s. Just keep getting 8s lobbies going. Get money 8s lobbies going. Play with as many people as you can. Learn some stuff. Learn what to do and what not to do. Just have fun playing Call of Duty. If there's no events, I don't understand why you can't get on and just have a fucking blast with your friends and just play. Like I was playing Twitter tournaments the other day, and people will sit there and be like, "Wow, dude, you're so bad to play Twitter tournaments." I played a Twitter tournament and got first rounded with a couple of my friends that don't even play Call of Duty, just because I wanted to have fun with them and just be able to just roast them and have whatever. It was a blast. Guys, this video is going over 21 minutes right now. I had a lot to say about this. If you guys want to tune into the podcast, I'm going to have a podcast hopefully going on later this week once I get the date sorted out. This is what Don't Get Me Started is all about, guys. I appreciate you guys viewing if you're still viewing to this point, and YouTube will